Morning, church. Before I get into the lesson, I want to thank everyone for being here today. Those that were able to make it and be here in person, and those that were not able to make it and are watching online. Thank you for being here or at home watching. And thank you for Dax and Gio. We were talking in there before that each of us would kind of rather have each other's jobs, but y'all did great. Y'all did great building up for me. Hopefully I can follow with goodness. The lesson I have for y'all today is I've given the title "Give It to God." It's about worry in our lives and letting go of that worry. I got this idea for this lesson from a sermon that Chris preached a few months ago. And in that sermon, he talked about our failures and how they don't define who we are, they don't define us. But God can take those failures and those mistakes and take us and use those mistakes and build us for something greater to glorify Him in our lives, Father. Or, sorry, in our lives. Thought I was praying there for a minute. Some of y'all know that I'm not very big on talking about emotions or feelings in my life, but I will say that one of the things I struggle with the most is when I make a mistake. I tend to be very hard, very critical of myself, and it's not very good in my life. But that's one of the reasons that Chris's sermon stood out to me so much, and why this one has helped a little bit in my life to get better at not being so hard on myself. After his sermon, I started to look at my life and think about why I'm so hard on myself and what happens when I usually make a mistake. And the thing that stood out, I think, the most to me is that whenever I make a mistake, I focus really hard on it, and then I start to stress and worry a lot about what that mistake means, what's going to happen next, and trying to prevent myself from making future mistakes, which, oddly enough, that stress usually builds up and sometimes can cause me to make more mistakes, which is just snowball effect into a very bad mindset. But I started to realize that one of the things that I need to do is start letting go of that worry, letting go of that stress, and just focus on doing a good job and living for God. So worry and stress over time, they affect your body in multiple ways. They can raise your heart rate, which can lead to heart disease. They can cause your muscles to tense up, and which over time can cause migraines or back pains or really any pains in your body at all. But I'm not going to go a whole lot into that because I'm not smart enough for all the science behind all that. But the main point of that is to say that worry and stress both have negative effects on your body and on your mind. So how do we cut out worry in our lives so that we can be healthier physically and mentally? That one's an easy answer, seeing as I've already said it. We have to give it over to God and let Him take control of it. So there's two main points that I want to go over in this lesson. The first is that we can trust God to take care of us and to take care of the things that we're worried about. I want to read 3 verses that say very similar things. The first is Psalm 55, verse 22. Cast your burden on the Lord, and He shall sustain you. He shall never permit the righteous to be moved. The next is 1 Peter chapter 5, verse 7. Casting all your care upon Him, for He cares for you. And then the third one is Isaiah 41, verse 10. Fear not, for I am with you. Be not dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you. Yes, I will help you. I will uphold you with my righteous hand. So these 3 verses all say basically the same thing, very similar messages behind them. They're saying that God cares about us. He loves us deeply. And because He cares about us, because He loves us, who better is there to lean on when we're worried, when we're overwhelmed, when we're stressed about something? When we decide to trust in God and lay our burdens on Him, We can trust Him to take care of us and take care of our worries for us. Not only that, but God is so great and so powerful and strong that our worries that may seem so big and impossible to handle to us are easy for Him, and He can manage them easy. When we realize that all we need really to do is rely on Him and trust in Him and give our worries to Him, they can also become easy to us. Alone, we may be too weak or tired or weak to handle whatever we're going through, but it isn't our strength that we need to rely on. We need to remember that we need to rely on God's strength to carry us through that. And that's what's so amazing about giving it to God is, even though we're weak, He is strong. Juan and Matthew, you all might like this example. When there's a fire and someone is trapped inside of a house or something, they have to trust in the firefighters to carry them out of that, to get them through the difficulty of the fire. And then after that, after the firefighters get them out, they trust the EMTs to look over them, to care for them, and make sure they're healthy. In a very similar way, we have to trust in God to get us out of the fire we're going through in our lives. And then after that, we trust in God to care for us and further, and to keep us healthy, both spiritually and physically, like Dad said. So the next verse I have for us is Matthew 6:25-27 that Dad read. Therefore I say to you, do not worry about your life, what you will eat or what you will drink, nor about your body, what you will put on. Is not life more than food, and the body more than clothing? Look at the birds of the air, for they neither sow nor reap nor gather into barns, yet your heavenly Father feeds them. Are you not of more value than they? Which of you, by worrying, can add 1 cubit to his stature? God cares for the whole earth, the trees, the grass, the cows, the fish, the birds, everything. He created it all, and He cares for it all. But most of all, He cares for us. We were made in His image, as it says in Genesis. And Jesus says in this verse, are you not much more valuable than they? He tells us that we're more valuable than all of creation in God's eyes. And if God cares for the birds, the flowers, the grass, why wouldn't He care for us, take care of us? And the last question in this passage is such a good one. Which of you, by worrying, can add 1 cubit to his stature? What does worry do for us? It doesn't do anything good. Does it make the problem go away? Does it Does it magically make money appear, or clothes, or food? No. Does it magically cure illnesses or heal broken bones? No. No, all worry does is make it harder for us, harder to see the steps we need to take to get out of the situation, harder to see who we really need to trust, God, not us. The second point in this lesson that I want to make is when we give our worries over to God, our bodies, our minds are much better off for it. Like I just mentioned, worrying does not help us at all, but the lack of worrying makes everything better. When we can go through the day without the constant drain and drag of worry, we can be happier. An example, when we leave work and we go home and worry about what we're going to do tomorrow at work, or worry about what that meeting that we have no idea what it's about, when we worry about that, we're less focused on things that can bring us joy and bring us peace and bring us happiness. Like spending time with family or friends, or doing activities that make us happy. According to Google, because I'm not very smart about science, worry affects the structure and function of our brain and can lead to memory loss and difficulty with decision making. Like I mentioned earlier, worrying can cause a snowball effect, like the decision making, which can lead to more mistakes in your life, as I've come to learn. But when we're able to let go of the worry, we can focus on the things that make us happier, make us calmer, and make our lives more joyful. And when we focus on those things, our mental health gets better. And when our mental health gets better, we become happier people. and we can bless the lives of those around us better. So our theme right now is genuine like Jesus. So I wanted to look at Jesus' life and see if what examples he has given us for how we can let go of worry. And the one I like is the Garden of Gethsemane. When Jesus was about to go to the cross, he was very overwhelmed, very stressed, because he knew it was about to happen. He didn't necessarily want it, but he knew it was going to happen. He told his disciples, "My soul is overwhelmed with sorrow to the point of death." He felt a lot of anxiety, a lot of worry. And what did he do? Well, he went to the garden and he prayed. And he didn't just pray once or twice. He prayed 3 times to his Father. He prayed that he would help him through this, that he would take it away. If Jesus, in his time of struggle and when he was overwhelmed, turned to God, why shouldn't we? Jesus was so strong and so powerful that he could do anything he wanted, but still he turned to God for help, which is a great example of what we should be doing in our lives. So I know some of these verses, well, all these verses say very similar things. They have the same meaning. But that's the point. It may seem redundant, but that's the point. The Bible tells us in multiple books, in multiple chapters, multiple verses, we don't need to worry. We need to give our worries over to God. And when the Bible says something multiple times over, it's usually a sign that you should probably be listening. You should probably be paying attention and learning something from that. I know that worry is a very hard thing to overcome. I know personally it can be very difficult. But as I've learned recently, and I'm still learning, when we finally let go and let God take care of our worries, our lives are a lot better because of it. We are blessed, and which can lead to other people around us being blessed by it. So if any of y'all have worries in your life that just seem too big and too great to overcome, I invite you now to give it over to God as we stand and sing.